Hello, this is Pops and the Deep Nat. You're listening to the Deep Purple podcast. I can't get it right.
You're listening to the Deep Purple podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Your hosts, Nate and John, cover their shared history with the band, discover new music together, and cover the farthest reaches of the Deep Purple family tree and beyond. Here's Nate and John now.
Welcome to the Deep Purple podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 317. John Lord and Eberhard Schoener, Mozart.
Kröenungsmesse.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where the animals are wilding out, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Angelic Glow Matola.
Another morning episode as John basks in the light.
You can always tell it's a morning episode. You can always tell it's a morning episode because anybody watching me looks like I'm in one of those movie sequences where like the guy that died at the end comes back from heaven and he's talking to you.
Yeah, you just need like a softer focus
Vaseline on the screen.
Yeah. The Barbara Walters interview
Vaseline on the screen, like
coming to you from a Barbara Walters interview at the pearly gates.
I can't help it because the window behind me, it's like the sun rises on this side, and it's like even when like the shades are shut right now, and like the sun is just blazing through. So
yeah, I can't imagine what it would be like if they were open.
About it.
But hey, folks, we're not the only Deep Purple podcast in town. There's now 2 other Deep Purple podcasts, so check them out.
Yeah, well,
Trendsetter 2025.
One is debatable.
2025 is the year of the Deep Purple podcast, and I mean that like
yeah, I've heard about that other one.
Not the Deep Purple podcast. It's the year of Deep Purple podcasts. Let's just say that.
Yeah, more.
Well,
yeah. What was that like other? I mean, there's that what is that other one that we were talking about in the text group? It sounds pretty bogus. What was it? Scott's? No, I mean the other one.
No, we're happy. Anybody that celebrates
Scott.
Deep Purple is a friend of ours.
Yeah, but there was. Yeah, I mean, I didn't bother listening to it. But like, how long was that other one that had kind of random episodes up for?
Not too long. It's only got maybe 10 episodes or so. So I think it must be new this year. Everyone's Deep Purple, man. They're on fire. It's like the new.
Welcome to the.
If Deep Purple podcasts take off like true crime podcasts, we're gonna be raking in the dough. Quitting our jobs, driving our Chevy Tahoes around. Welcome to all new listeners and all new Deep Purple podcasters. Yeah, like in the middle of the night, there was like lightning, and it was like 3 a.m, but the birds were going nuts. Like just, and I was like, and then my dog was going crazy, and I let her out, and then all these other dogs like all around us were howling and barking, and I was like, are we gonna have an earthquake or something? But so far, we are rattle-free over here, so we'll take it.
No earthquake?
No earthquake yet.
Very good.
Okay, so yeah, the Deep Purple podcast is 100% listener supported and ad-free, so if you receive some value from our podcast, please consider giving us some value back. You can do so a number of ways, including leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, buying some merch in our Etsy store, and of course, become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal. You get access to our patrons-only Discord, our rating spreadsheet. You get invites for live stream episodes. You get the link to submit your ratings for album rankings. And kind of a new thing, you'll get access to banned episodes. So when we get banned on YouTube, we'll post the episodes on Patreon. So we haven't gotten banned since we planned on doing that. Maybe that was the secret. YouTube's like, no, we don't want to lose all those eyeballs. We don't want to lose those 100 views a week. Let's
I don't know. I thought when you said banned episodes, I didn't think you meant banned.
Oh, you thought about the band. It's like, well, aren't they all banned?
Isn't every episode about the band?
In some way. Speaking of our patrons, we have to thank our first level of patrons. That is, of course, our executive level, coming in at the in memoriam tier, the wonderful late Gerald, Jerry, Kelly, and family. At the $25 uncommon man tier, we have Ovis Nakvi and Purple Maniac. At the 15 squid tier, we have Alan. At the 10-pound good doctor tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan. At the turn it up to $11 tier, we have Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard Mortensen, Mikkel Steen, Will Porter, PhDPP, and Michael, don't call him Bradford Bagford. At the $10 someone came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans, Peter from Illinois. And then we have at the Deep Thoughts by John Matola tier, Fielding Fowler.
And now, Deep Thoughts by John Matola.
Wait a minute. I lost it.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. Last night, me and Jen watched Major League. Haven't seen that in forever, but it made me think of the Deep Thoughts tier because Bob Uecker's going all off, and he says this big thing. He's like, hey, the guy who is his partner, I forget. He's like, anything to add? He's like, nope. He's like, I don't call him the best color man in the business for nothing.
Oh, that's good.
So I was like,
also I'm gonna have to add in that you did Better Call Saul Evans, so I'll do the sound effect.
I missed it. Oh.
All right, there we go. You don't have to do it.
We'll just have you do it from now on. Oh man, it must be early here. Well, like I said, I was up at 3 a.m. with wild animals going bonkers. So speaking
I can't do it. If it were 3 a.m. and everything was going bonkers, I would still be there catching flies. I'd be like,
and I'd be texting you, John, where are you?
I'd be at that point. I'm at that point in my life where I'll sleep through anything.
Yeah, well,
Well, I mean, let me back up because I know that some people have something to say about that. John, you can sleep through anything. You have slept through anything. You slept through meeting Ian Pace.
You were sleepwalking through it.
I mean, and sleep dancing at one point.
Yeah, you might not believe it if I hadn't told you.
When I go to bed, I go to sleep, and I'm pretty much. I stay that way. So
yeah, I used to be a pretty light sleeper, but I feel like I can sleep through more these days. But it was a little crazy. Speaking of rankings shows that, of course, are available, the shows themselves are available to everybody for free, of course. But if you want to join us on the live stream or submit your rankings, we are looking for the next album, which is Who Do We Think We Are? The last Mark II album before the split. 1973 album. We want your rankings by August 18th. So at this point, as of hearing this, I think it's too late to get the Machine Head episodes or rankings in.
Uh-oh.
And we'll be recording that episode soon. So yeah, become a patron if you want to be invited to rank that album. And then of course we'll be going through the Mark III, Mark IV, and then Perfect Strangers and everything in order. So check it out.
Who do we think we are? I wonder which one I'll rank last.
Yeah, that one's a mystery. It could be anything.
Deep thoughts.
Yeah, for John, it's going to be like, well, everything on that album's, as like you say with Machine Head, everyone's saying the same thing, which is like, it's such a between first and last is such a thin margin. What do you rank last on that album? But if I feel, well, we at least know where John's going to come on who do we think we are. It's going to be,
you know what?
It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then, going into the subway, 7.
I don't revisit that album very often. So who knows? Maybe I'll surprise even myself.
He's going to listen to it again and be like, I got a bombshell for you. Place in line, favorite song on the album.
April Fools. Yeah.
Oh,
2 months late.
Technically still April as we're recording this, not as you're listening.
I don't think anybody's done April Fools this year. I don't know if we talked about it, but it's like,
I think everyone finally just pooped out, and I'm so glad because it's so lame.
Yeah, it is. I think like
I was thinking the same thing. It was like 8:00 at night on April Fool's, and I'm like, I don't think I saw a single thing this year, and I'm like, thank God, because it was so annoying.
Yeah, I don't like pranks to begin with, which
Correct,
is why being friends with Rich is very challenging. Because he's pranking you 100% of the time. He's always keeping you on your toes. But no, in all seriousness, that whole thing of like fooled you, it's like, oh, stop it. Like
fooled you, like it's Spaceballs.
Like, yeah, I know. It's like Dark Helmet.
Fooled you.
And that's the voice that I use for everyone. It's like it's burned in my brain.
Well, it's either like, it's just because so many of them are so lame. It's just like, I'll lie to you about something and then you believe it. And then I'm like, ha, you trusted me as a friend and I lied to you. It's like, well, how's that funny? Either that or it's like when, I don't know, the past 10, 15 years when brands started getting on board, it's like, Coca-Cola is releasing a new ground beef flavor, or Coca-Cola or something. And it's always so obvious. You're just like, oh, okay, yes, I get it. It's April 1st. Like all the brands jump on board.
I kind of fall for that stuff because, I mean, let's face it, these days, like, I would believe it. I'd just be like, I guess makes sense, seeing as nothing else fucking makes sense anyway these days. So.
Yeah, why not?
It's like, new beef Skittles. Oh, all right, yeah, sure, why not?
Beef Skittles. Sour beef flavor.
Yeah, it's great, new anchovy flavored M&Ms.
Yeah, it's always just something dumb like that. Sometimes they'll do something like I want to say one year Amazon did like a few years back, they like made their homepage look like it looked in like 1999. And I thought that was kind of cool because it was like, whoa, remember when I used to look like this? Like sometimes people do stuff like that. That's like not really a prank. It's more, I don't even know what you call it. But yeah, for the most part, I usually dread that day. And this year, everyone seemed to kind of give up.
Good.
Yay!
Good. Yay for giving up.
Let's drink to the death of April Fools.
Yeah.
Well, we do have something we do need to cover before we move on, and that is, of course, it is Postcards from the Edge of Connecticut, and this time it is coming to us actually from Wisconsin. This is Hub's Motel and Pier on Green Bay. So this is from Sisters Bay, Wisconsin, which I actually went to a couple, maybe two or three summers ago. We went there for a friend's wedding. This says, AAA approved 10 motel units and 4 housekeeping cottages, private beach, fishing party boats, you drive it boats, and motors. Swimming, water skiing, scuba diving, launching ramp, boat slips, and trout trolling. What's that? You go and just like mess with trout.
And color TV.
It didn't say color TV, so that what that means. No color TV. I don't know when they stopped advertising color TV as if it was a luxury, but it says, Nate, now here is a nice place for the DPP Midwest chapter to meet up. Pete. And this is about 5 hours from my house. Beautiful. It's really beautiful up there. A lot of lots of Norwegians, Swedes, Danes, a lot of them settled there. I don't know why, but there's a lot of it's very Scandinavian. It's kind of like what do you call it? Saint Olaf.
When you say Swedes, it sounds like you shouldn't be saying it.
Like it's a pejorative.
Well, it does. You're just like, yeah, there are a lot of Swedes up there.
A lot of friggin' Swedes.
Well, I mean, it's kind of along the lines, if you like, it's not inherently offensive, but if you're just like, yeah, there were a lot of Jews there, you'd be like, oh, geez, don't say that.
Yeah,
but,
it's like, it doesn't Louis C.K. have a bit about that? Like, it's like,
yeah,
it's the official term, but depending on how you say it, it can also sound really offensive.
Well, yeah, he said if you say it and you throw a little stank on it, then it sounds derogatory.
There's a lot of Swedes there.
Yeah, there's a lot of. And if you say friggin', if you say
friggin' Swedes, it makes it sound like like an infestation or something. All these friggin'
like
Swedes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that's it is a great place. You should definitely check it out. I don't know what trout trolling is, but they do these fish fries where they fish boils, I should say, where they boil the fish and then they put some kerosene and the flames just go up like 15 feet in the air, and it's like literally a mushroom cloud over it too. It's like of just kerosene burning off whatever it is. But yeah, really delicious, and they just serve it with like boiled potatoes and the white fish and the really good stuff. But anyway,
I love potatoes.
That is Postcards from the Edge for you, and that means we're about to head into the album. So this one, I'm not 100% sure that I can pronounce it as well as our friend Norman does. So Norman Weichelbaum sent in his pronunciation.
Kröenungsmesse.
To help me out. And here, so this is the kind of the second part of Windows, which we did, 5-6 years ago?
Yeah.
So they got together after this to kind of do this performance, which was done with a TV crew and everything rolling and everything, but no audience. They just kind of performed this, and it's just this very unusual bit of Deep Purple history, as you'll see who's involved, everyone that was involved in Windows, basically. But Norman was
that's
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. I thought you were going to say something else.
I have nothing to add. I'm like, yeah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's it.
We will. Norman sent us in a little thing about how to pronounce
Krönungsmesse.
So here we go.
So that's how to pronounce Coronation Mass correctly in German. It's Kröenungsmesse, which is quite difficult for you, I think. Ö, like Eberhard, Schoener, Kröenungsmesse. And don't say Kröenungsmesse. KR is pronounced, it's more upfront in the mouth. Kröenungsmesse. So, give it a try.
Kröenungsmesse. Kröenungsmesse. What do you think? You go, John. Your turn.
I'm not going to do it. Right.
No, it's not like it's like more upfront in the mouth. Kröenungsmesse.
Gringo. Now
Messy gringo.
Gringo messa. Krunga. I don't know. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with with Italian too, because my brother will be pronouncing something to me the same way, and I'll say it back thinking I said it right, and he's like, no, and then he'll say it and I'll hear it the same, and I'm like, that's what I said, and he goes, no, you're not, putting it here in your mouth, or it's just like, it's very difficult to get the little things down, the little details down in other languages. I'm bad at it.
Well, some people have an ear for it and some people don't. Like some people have not such a great vocabulary. Like Jen, she's got a great accent. Like, so people think she speaks French better than she actually does. But then a friend of hers, is like completely 100% fluent in French. She married a French guy that lived in France, lived all over the place, speaks French all the time, but has like the worst accent imaginable. Like it just sounds like, bonjour, hello, ba ba ba. Just it doesn't sound. But she's getting all the words right. But when you think about it, it's like just like a French guy with great English, just has he's sounding this charming French accent. Like Norman has a good English accent. Like he doesn't he doesn't have. I mean, obviously he's got a German accent, but it's slight, very very easy to understand him. But sometimes people have a really good vocabulary and are almost incomprehensible because of the accent. So
I like that. Your impression of it sounds like somebody from like Arkansas saying bonjour. It's like, yeah, bonjour.
Bonjour, qu'est-ce qu'il y a la déjeuner? Oh, il y a saucisse.
It's like Mr. Furley going to the French restaurant and be like, yeah, we'll have some of these escargots. And the soup douger.
The soup douger. All right. So this is, as Norman so wonderfully put it, the Mozart's Coronation Mass, or Kröenungsmesse.
So this was part of Windows, or this was part of the same musicians that did Windows.
Correct.
But it wasn't part of the album.
No,
it wasn't just recorded live with no audience. So kind of like a sound check type situation, almost.
I don't know that they did it the same day. Even they may have, but we have here in Norman was lucky enough to actually speak to Eberhard Schoener, Schoener recently. Like I don't know, a few weeks ago maybe, and he had this interview with him, which was really great. And I asked, he said it's okay if we put it in the show notes. So I'll put the full interview in the show notes. But he did have this interview with him, so where he asked him some stuff about Windows, and I'll put the full interview in there. But he's got some good stuff to talk about, and I can probably touch on some of that during the episode. But it's great that he was in contact with him. So it's this part of this Rock Meets Classic project, where they got classical musicians and rock musicians and did stuff like this. So Schoener would have met John Lord sometime in the early 70s, maybe 1972. He says he met him at the Circus Krone. This may have been 1972. He said he was a very polite and likable young man. And then Norman asked him about conducting Gemini Suite, and I believe, if that's the one I'm thinking of, they were set to do it, but Eberhard Schoener like broke his arm in a skiing accident, so they had to cancel the concert. But this is like a very interesting and very experimental kind of, I guess, furthering of what John Lord was already doing with Deep Purple, Gemini Suite, and stuff like that. So it's very interesting, one-off, never done again sort of thing. And we've got all the same folks. We've got Ray Fennick on guitar. We got Glenn Hughes on bass and vocals, David Coverdale on vocals, John Lord, of course, Tony Ashton, Pete York on drums. I think that's all the rock guys that I'm remembering. But it's not a super long performance, about 40 minutes. So I figure we'll just kind of do our next round of patrons. We'll cut to the performance, and then we'll have a little chat afterwards. How's that work for you?
Great. Great. Yeah. So now this is basically like they're doing. So this was a Mozart composition, right?
Yep.
And so this is their like Lord's version of it.
Yeah, their kind of interpretation of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not long, right? It's like
it's like 40 minutes. I found a few performances of the Mozart version that are more like in the 30-minute range.
I was going to say, isn't it like a half hour-ish?
Yeah, so we can put some stuff in there. I'm not like very familiar with the Mozart one at all, and this is only something I've seen in bits and pieces. I've never watched the whole thing before because I've been kind of saving it for an episode. So, without further ado, we will move on to our next level of patrons, and we'll get into the music here. Okay, so coming in at our core level, we have the $6.99 new nice price tier, Spike the Rock Cat's Ghost and Sugar Tea. At the episode $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell.
Steve.
Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving.
Pain in the glaving.
And Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Richie Sucksmith. At the 70 Norwegian Kroner tier, we have Kai Runa, yes, I'm Norwegian Olsen. At the $5.99 the nice price tier, we have Robert Smith and Carl Hellberg. At the 60 Kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have DJ Newt Morton Johansson. At the €5.50 tier, we have Merlin Rota. At the $5 moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Alexi the Perfect Stranger Slepikoff, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zerns, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf.
My Czechoslovakian is not so good.
Coyote Bongwater. John Maselli.
Tanya, my little lasagna.
Sarah Sanders.
No, Kelly Clarkson.
Jelly Bean, Evan Robeson, Richard Fusey, and Purple Swede.
Hookah, shaka, hookah, hookah.
Swede.
Sweet, 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 sweet.
Thank you to all of you for your support of the Deep Purple podcast. So also featured on this, we have the Munich Chamber Orchestra, conducted, of course, by Eberhard Schoener. And we have the Tola's Boys Choir, which is, if you look at their Wikipedia page, the picture is just like a bunch of boys just running, screaming out of a church. like, ah! Like school's out for the day. They're like, ah! It's like, oh God. All right, so we're ready to tap into this wonderful piece of Deep Purple history.
Absolutely.
All right, let me find the file here. And here we are, John Lord Eberhard Schoener. Here we go. Rock Beats Classic. Tuning up, I guess. So Kyrie is the first piece of this, I guess. I don't know what he did. So there's not a ton of instruments. I'd say there's like some percussion, some cellos, some violins, and a choir. And this, of course, was uploaded by our good friend York Planer on his YouTube channel. Eberhard Schoener has amazing hair. It's kind of like almost like you're seeing them in rehearsals.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they mess up or something?
I don't know what he's saying right there. It's tough. He's not even counting in. He's just looking at them and then going, "Wah!" They just cut
What the
back
hell was
to-
that? That looks like they just spliced it in.
Yeah, right. So now they show. Maybe that's the rehearsal part. Now here's John Lord sitting down with a drink and some staff paper.
Oh yeah, this definitely looks like it's a montage before the actual show. This has to be.
So he's on this cool set here. Now he's going over to the piano, it looks like. Stepping over some wires. David Coverdale, who's like bleary-eyed.
Confused. He's like, when are we gonna sing about bosoms?
I love. Hughes' hair is all frizzy and he's got a beard, well, partial beard. So yeah, it's this very like, it's like you're getting a glimpse into everybody kind of toying around with this piece of music in a way. Now it's just like piano and solo boy. Whoa. So you're hearing some like synth stuff going on there too.
Yeah.
And there is some interesting stuff about the synth that was used in this we can get to in a little bit. Oh, now he's getting a little jazzy. So now they're going to this kind of little soulful breakdown. It's Tony Ashton wearing his best t-shirt. We're almost getting a glimpse into what pace Ashton Lord had been if Coverdale had been in it. It's Absolution, like Absolution Blues from Coverdale Page. This goes to like the boys' choir. Pretty amazing in the 70s. You just like this would just be on TV. Nobody have any idea what they're watching.
I don't have any idea what I'm watching.
Oh, that's not a boy. They're cutting all these boys. There's a guy in the back with a big mustache. Maybe he's the leader. I don't know. They're like, we need a bass. It's like, how old are you? I'm 12. Great. We brought in a ringer. Now we're into the Gloria section. Whoa, now they're doing some trippy special effects. The special effect where they make the film look like a drawing.
It looks like a clam.
Oh, right, because all the lines.
Like a cartoon clam.
Clammy the Clam. I have one of those right here.
This camera work and sound, like effects, visual effects are definitely 70s. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. We should have done this later at night and smoked a doobie before we recorded.
Yeah.
So now John Lord's playing around with this synthesizer. That sounds like Pink Floyd. Like early Pink Floyd. Pete York is like hitting all the drums with his hands. Nice vest that Ray has on there. I like how Pete York has like the digital font on his drums where it says Pete York, like the font that they thought looked futuristic in the 70s. This is a weird montage. They've got a chandelier, but it's hanging at like waist level.
Yeah, it's like they started to install it and they're like, we'll pull it up to the ceiling later.
Yeah, we'll do it later. There's no rush. They're not going to be filming anything in here today. So now they're sitting down to this.
The space looks like it's unfinished.
Yeah, it's just like a big sound stage. So now it's like they're listening to the orchestra and like kind of tweaking the controls on the speaker. But they're sitting down at this ARP Odyssey, which has an interesting history. So it's almost like they're using like sounds of the orchestra to and manipulating them on the synthesizer. But this was the same synthesizer that the Beatles used on Abbey Road. And what George Harrison used on Here Comes the Sun. So it's a Moog 3P, serial number 1095. If you think there's something wrong with your audio, there is not. This is what it sounds like. It's funny because they're all just like...
Interesting.
What's that?
Very interesting.
Tony Ashley's like, hey. he's doing these like funny little faces. But it's like they're just taking that feed of music and putting it through all these filters. And there's 4 of them all crouched around this Moog 3P. They use this on Maxwell's Silver Hammer, on Here Comes the Sun, a few other tracks on Abbey Road. Oh, is that an oboe? Or a hookah. Somebody's putting some valve oil in the trumpet. It looks all sensual.
What is happening? This is nothing like what I thought it would be.
No, and having only seen bits and pieces, I'm myself.
I mean, I just thought this was going to be a straight, just filming of them doing a performance, not this crazy bullshit.
This is Ritornelle 1. So now they're really getting into the synths. They're all very sensually touching these French horns and everything. It just looks very, oh. Is that supposed to happen? I remember I used to have to, when I had my trumpet, you had to oil up the valves. I remember the smell of that oil so specifically. He's pulling the knobs off that mixer. Like, and he's putting different colored knobs on. So that was a thing you did back then? But everyone's very sensually touching their instruments and mixing components and...
Yes, I'm very sensually touching my instrument.
And you can do that along at home if you want. Oh. It's that stanky bass tone. Okay, now we're on to the next piece. I don't know if there's a commercial break there, but we're on to Credo. Oh, and this is that kind of long-haired hippie violin player. Some of that groove, man. Maybe that's a viola. It looks big. Tony Ashton just put his foot up on the piano. He's trying to get John's attention, but he's not getting it.
John, look at me!
Look at me! I got my foot up here!
Look what I can do!
Like a guy on the right, he's got like the little Lord Fauntleroy hairdo.
So I mean, it looks like these two performances are independent of each other.
Yeah, it was almost like John Lord took the music that they are playing, started playing it a little on piano or organ or anything, and then they kind of did like an improvised jam based off of that section. And then decided to splice it all together with what would probably have been kind of a fairly straight performance of the whole piece. And they were probably just recorded separate, and somebody said, you know what, I'm going to splice these two things together. And
yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like. Because I mean, I really thought it was going to be all of them in the same stage like it was for Windows.
It's kind of a cool concept when you think about it. It's rather than playing together as a classical ensemble interpreting it normally, and then a rock band doing an improv sort of thing. So they're singing it now, and then they're taking you through kind of a back into the studio with John and Tony in the distance. And what would you call it? Like sepia tone sort of look to it.
Yeah.
So this is John Lord doing it on a synth, and Coverdale and Ashton, it looks like, watching him. If they splice that together, if he's really playing along, listening to it.
Who's that on the right? Coverdale?
Yeah. I believe so. That might have been the Moog 3, actually. Apparently Ovis, through his research, found out that Moog was, that exact Moog was sold to Eberhard Schoener. And it's in a museum now. it looks like we're going into the John Lord and Friends interpretation of this with Pete York. Now there's boys playing soccer. Maybe this was edited together by the folks who brought us Butterfly Ball.
Yeah, probably.
It looks like it is probably the boys' choir playing soccer, at least. It's not just some random people dressed up like animals.
Even the kids wore ascots back then, huh?
The kid's playing soccer in a button-up shirt with a sweater over it. And one kid's got on shorts and one kid looks like he's going to church. Yeah, see, now they've kind of melded together these two. Pete York's going nuts right now. To Sanctus. It looks like Abe Lincoln. Whoa. They seem to have like in-ear monitors in or something, which honestly I didn't even... That guy's probably 37.
That was part of the concerto too, and I didn't like it then.
I didn't like that either.
I don't like this either. All this experimental rock and roll noise. They're 37. So that would make this guy like 18.
But it's kind of like it's a mixture of some kind of pro-looking, I mean, they're all pros, obviously, but they like that guy looked like Clark Kent, and the other guy looked like an older guy, but there was also like a bunch of hippie-looking people with long hair and sideburns. Is that part of the child's choir in the back? He looks like he's 37 too. There are some weird people in this boys' choir that do not look.
Yeah. Or they're at least standing in the vicinity of the boys' choir.
I mean, they're in it.
Boys' choir.
Are they roadies? I don't know. See, every so often, it's just boy, 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 old guy with mustache. Okay, this is Benedictus. So Ovis writes that the Germans were not musical snobs in the way that he refers to the British, like during the concerto. So like to find people that look like this doing this sort of music or this sort of collaboration was a lot more normal in Germany than it would have been in England, where they would have been like, what is this nonsense? So I guess the boys' choir are intermingled with the man's choir. That's the only explanation here. So Jorg did send me quite a few articles about this, but they were all in German, and Norman was kind enough to translate them. So I can put those in the music notes. Now we're back to John and Tony in the studio.
Now we're going to do the Rockin' Benedictus.
Exactly. But it's funny because they're cutting to a guy on the timpani and a guy on the violin that you can't actually hear. It's like Tony and John just keep swapping piano and organ. John's on the piano right now with Tony on the organ. Coverdale have something in between his teeth. Is he having like a
I think it's just his teeth.
I thought he was having a sesame seed bagel or something. That shirt that Pete York is wearing is the shirt that AI always wants to give you when I when I do the episode art now. It's always like this big butterfly collar. When it's not giving
AI
you
hates me.
when it's not giving you like a dress with cleavage or whatever. Very strange. Ooh, this got some really great grooves. It'd be great to talk to like Coverdale or Hughes about this. Be like, I bet neither of them remembers it at all. It's just
it's hard to picture him being part of this. You know, it's just so experimental.
Now we have Ritornell 2 here. And from what I heard, this only aired once on German TV, which may not be the most surprising thing in the world. They were clamoring for it to be aired again. So they're like, what was that? Got this obvious kind of synth pad going on, and we're seeing all the boys' choir organizing their. Looks like they're getting their jackets on and picking up their sheet music. See, but the guys are dressed just like the boys.
So maybe it was the man's choir too.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, are they? I gotta look and see. Is this the? This is a really freaky sort of. It's hard to tell if they're coming or going.
Well, it looks like they're getting dressed to leave.
That's what it looks like. They're all putting on their jackets and grabbing their attachés and their music and. Agnus Dei. So this is a young boy on a train now. It looks like he's singing on the train, but they haven't synced it up properly. I just love in the 70s, like how TV would just be so boring and they would just have like one shot for like the longest time and nothing would really be happening and people would like, this was entertainment. I love watching like those
air quote entertainment.
But I love watching like those old BBC documentaries from the 70s and it's just like, and I say it with love, but it was so boring.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But it reminds me of just like you would watch that as a kid and you'd just be like, this is what I'm watching, I guess. This is what's on. There's only 3 channels. What else am I gonna do?
Exactly.
But if it was between this and the news as a kid, you're gonna watch this. You're gonna watch.
The news almost feels like the same.
You watch. Well, I'll watch a kid sitting on a train with no edits or cuts for 3 straight minutes.
I mean, also think about it too. Like somebody had to be sitting across from this kid filming him for like 10 minutes or whatever this is, and he knows it and he's just looking out the window. I would be like trying not to look at the camera.
Yeah, exactly. The kid's trying to pretend.
Somebody's filming me.
And now we cut to the same kid in the studio singing.
Who's doing the solo.
So that was maybe just his. Maybe it was his trip into the studio where he was thinking about it. And I like how the studio they're in looks like the holodeck from the Enterprise. It's got all like a grid on the walls. I want to see Data come by dressed as Sherlock Holmes. What happens when they finally, like, I wonder, like, how badly it affects your singing, like, if you've spent your whole life at this point developing this voice, and then puberty hits, and you can't I guess you become this guy.
You just answered your own question.
I did. He answered my question. I wonder if any of them have like a really awkward, like their voice just drops way too much or they lose control over it. I don't know.
You know, you have that Peter Brady type thing happening. It's like,
Actually, sounds like the video just did that. Oh, now we're back to... Now it says Rock Trough O Classic. And I think that's the... Now they're giving you a little... some credits and some looks back, but I think that's the whole performance as we wind down here. Und Glenn Hughes, David Coverdale, Tony Ashton, Ray Fenwick, Peter York. Are we gonna have that sensual oboe? He just puts the oboe reed in his mouth and then he just takes it out.
I mean, it's like he's going like...
We'll have to blow that video up of you because you're all small now. Little old me and my oboe. Somebody's gonna write in and tell me that's not an oboe. John Lord. he froze right at the end. Oh, that wasn't a chandelier. It was like do they call it a candelabra?
Well, it was. It was a...
But it was like on a stick. Now it's like this really noisy noise of them just schlepping equipment around.
Packing in their gear.
Including that priceless Moog 3. Just a bunch of 70s dudes coiling up cables.
Just pilot over there.
Oh, there's Eberhard.
Whoops.
Yeah, because this guy's like disassembling this super complicated looking synth. This guy's getting underneath. Must be John Lord's keyboard tech. All right. Well, that was very strange.
To say the least.
Oh. So, John, any first thoughts on that?
That was you? Yeah, that was wild. I mean, like I said, I was kind of thinking that it was going to be an extension of what we saw, like Windows, something like that. And then you said, oh, okay, they basically came back and a TV crew filmed them with no audience. So I was like, oh, okay, so they're all going to be in the same room, but just no audience. I wasn't expecting this kind of avant-garde, really typical 70s boring production, or unusual production, I should say. Some of it could be boring, like that 10-minute long shot of the kid on the train. That was kind of not necessary, but yeah, it caught me off guard.
Yeah,
it was kind of hard. It was hard to follow. Like I thought that it had there were different sections and it would be easier to follow. But I think just the really abrupt cuts between just everything just made it difficult to follow. And I don't know. I don't really see how the rock part of it or the band part of it really fit in with the orchestra, the Mozart part of it.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was just...
It just felt like kind of like shoehorned in, you know?
It was, yeah, sometimes you'd just be watching something and it'd be in the middle of a note and then it'd be like, boom! And then like right into the next section, like with no warning and no like decay on the instrument, no fade. It was just like, boom! So I wonder if part of that is just how this... I don't know what the provenances of this recording, but I don't know if they had commercial breaks or because I don't know if they still do it, but I know when I went to the UK over 30 years ago, they would play like a whole show, and then after the show, in between the shows, they'd play the commercials, and then they play another show. So, and I thought that was kind of cool because you weren't constantly breaking up. So I don't know if the Germans had a similar thing or if they did interstitial sort of ads like we do. But yeah, it seemed like pieces were missing a little bit in how they were jammed together. But definitely, I think you summed it up perfectly with avant-garde. It's very, it was almost like they recorded Eberhard doing his kind of version of it, and then they went to the studio that they set up for the day with Hughes and Coverdale and Lord and all them. And maybe my theory is just because John Lord was looking through music, is him doing an interpretation of each individual section and saying, okay, this is kind of the melody line here, or one little snippet of a melody line. I'm going to play with it, make it a little bluesy. And then they all would just jam on that, which for them was extremely easy. And all those grooves they threw together were awesome. So they probably just said, hey, well, let's put a little groove here. Coverdale Hughes will do a little singing, a little riffing, a little ad-libbing or whatever. And there you have it. But all right, well, let's...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, it was, even though it was unusual, it just made me kind of think that it's, when we were younger, you thought, oh, okay, Deep Purple's a band, right? And they just did their albums and that's it. And then we found out they did all this stuff in between. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like Lord and those guys, they were doing Purple, because what year was it? 74? Yeah. So, I mean, they were just at the beginning of Mark III, or in the middle of it, whatever. And in between doing Purple, or while they're doing Purple, they're also involved in this.
Yeah, sometime between like Burn and Stormbringer, they're just throw this together for a day.
So, I mean, you don't think of like Coverdale doing this or Hughes doing this kind of thing or being involved with it, or some of these other musicians. So it just, goes to show a couple of things, is that, makes these guys so diverse, or made them so diverse at the time, is that, you always think of a band just doing like one project and one style of music. And so not only is that not true, but it shows you that you don't have to just like one type of music or play one type of music. I mean, even like look at Coverdale. Like I was joking around saying like, when are we going to sing about bosoms? But it's like, he did what he went on to do, but it's like in the beginning, he was definitely obviously open to more experimental stuff, like stuff you would never think that he would do. Or anybody that has kind of a basic understanding of, oh, that's a guy from Whitesnake. It's like, he was interested in and did so much more. So, yeah, it's so, I mean, in that respect, it was kind of cool to see it or know that it exists,
Yeah, I mean, when you get into, especially here in the States, Whitesnake, the connotations of Whitesnake is kind of almost like a punchline, like, Whitesnake, that's the epitome of LA hair metal in the United States is Whitesnake, which isn't even an American band. But that's kind of, I bet 90% of the people on the street have no idea that Coverdale was even British or what his name even was. They just know the Whitesnake and Here I Go Again, and lump them together with Rat and Cinderella and the like. But if you took somebody off the street and showed them this and said, this is the people who brought you Smoke on the Water and Here I Go Again, their minds would kind of be blown, because this is what they were doing in the 70s. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up and move on, we would like to, of course, thank our next level of patrons. Of course, that is our foundation level. And coming to us at the £3.50 tier, we have the Deep Purple New York tier, of course. We have Lord Longford, perhaps. At the £3 aromatic feed tier, we have Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the €3.50 tier, we have Weston Supermare Pilgrim. At the 293 pence tier, we have
Blackmore Tights.
At the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, we have Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask.
That thing I want, sir. That thing I want, sir. That thing I want, sir.
At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardot, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Stuart McCord, Ivan Fjellbu, Runar Simonson, Ruinous Inadequacies, Corey Morissette, Joe Dopefish Sigler, Adam Cork, Tim Wood, and Steve Down to Earth Kohler. At the $1.71 I Want My Own tier, we have
Rich, Yangui, Shaylo.
I know who Rich is. Rich is my favorite.
At the 10 Cold Hard Danish Kroner tier, we have Karsten Lau.
Cold Hard Danish Kroner.
And at the $1 made up name tier, we have the the Dead Boys Choir, Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 Fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel, Zwapper, the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Durple Purple, David Haddam, Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts.
Our audience expects you to be a bit more dirty.
Disco Pants and Haircuts, yeah.
I'm just going to put my guitar across his head.
Eddie Lyon.
Homosexual.
And Sick Tone.
Where is she? Where is she? She's just about to close up the library.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. And as I said, our wonderful friend Norman Weichelbaum did do some translations of some articles. Not much about this one, but he did say that there was this one interesting part but from Music Express, which was mostly about Windows, but it says, the band stayed in Munich for a few days after the concert to record another television production with Eberhard Schoener, which is to be broadcast at Christmas. In the television studio in Munich, oh boy, I'm going to need a pronunciation on that one, Unterforing, the hustle and bustle is in full swing after a few hours waiting. Eberhard Schoener clears himself between the stage directions and the conducting for an answer as to what is actually being played in these bizarre backdrops between crystal chandeliers, Mozart pictures, antique furniture, porcelain vases, a mock-up bar, the video cameras, and spotlights. He says it should be a 45-minute film based on Mozart's Coronation Mass, showing a portrait of John Lord as a contemporary musician, then going back to the rock band and back to John. The main character, to make it clear how close he actually is to the matter, at the same time create a beautiful visual model. Then they say in Rollover Classic, 2 days after the successful performance at Circus Krone, we meet in a television studio in Munich, again, Unterforing, between colored spotlights, antique furniture, and crystal chandeliers. A team of 24 people waves at the state-of-the-art video cameras. Mozart's Coronation Mass booms out of the loudspeakers while John Lord is busy with his synthesizer. Ray Fennick, Pete York, and Tony Ashton pass the time with a jam session, and the Deep Purple people, Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale, the latter plagued by toothache, oh, there you go, hang out listlessly in the studio. Everyone is waiting for the return. There'll be enough time to learn something about his collaboration with John Lord from the author, composer, director, conductor, Eberhard Schoener. So yes, Coverdale didn't have a sesame seed in his teeth. He had a toothache.
Oh, okay.
That's got to be fun, being around loud music and singing while you have a toothache.
Or Coverdale.
So Schoener says we exchange our ideas by mail. So, they would have an idea for something they could do and then mail it to each other. And maybe that's how the collaboration started for Windows. And then this is just something, like I said, they just threw together at the end. And for all we know, Schoener may have been working on putting together a performance of this for a while and decided to do this interspersed sort of version for German TV. So think about it after singing O Tannenbaum with the family, opening your gifts. You sit down and watch this on TV. Maybe it'll help if you had a little Christmas, what do they call
Christmas spirit?
A little spirit, a little snoot, a little toot, a couple toots.
Do a little Christmas toot.
A little Christmas,
and a little eggnog.
A little PCP infused eggnog. What do you put in your eggnog? Rum, bourbon, PCP?
Oh shit!
It's like that Mitch Hedberg bit. Have you ever tried sugar or PCP?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's definitely a weird thing in the. This
is another one of your weird songs, man.
From the Deep Purple catalog, but we love it.
Yeah. This is this was not on my bingo card.
No, it's not on your Deep Purple bingo card at all. It's them tripping balls and doing Mozart in the studio. Well, we know they weren't. None of them were tripping. Well, maybe Husey. He might have had a few toots, but the rest of them.
Tony Ashton.
Tony Ashton, I'm sure, had a few drinks.
With his foot up on the friggin' organ.
I love that. I wish I was good enough that I could do that and not look like a fool. You know what I mean? You got to have some level of swagger, some level of talent to be able to pull that off. You can't just play like I play and then throw your foot up on the piano. People are, hey, get your foot off the piano. Sorry.
Well, you could, but I mean, like we would know. We'd be like, oh, look, he's doing a Tony Ashton. Everybody else would be like, get your foot off the piano, you dummy.
I do it and I go into like some fancy hotel bar where there's a piano and I just put my foot up on there. Security drags me out.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, you're not Tony Ashton fans? Get the hell out of here.
Tony who?
So yeah, a little shorter episode for you folks. As we just starting our day. And yeah, any exciting plans for the rest of the day?
Nope, doing chores around the house.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I started.
That's my exciting plans.
I started cleaning out the garage yesterday. I'm gonna finish it today before I go to work. So yay!
Yep.
Cleaning a garage and going to work.
It's one of those days.
Yep. All right, my friend. Well, and all of our listeners, we will see you next week here on the Deep Purple Podcast.
Kröenungsmesse.
If you like the Deep Purple Podcast and would like to support the show, please consider joining our Patreon or donating on PayPal. Patrons get full access to the podcast, Discord server, ratings, spreadsheets, and live stream invites. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow the show on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, or Threads. You can also check out the website at deeppurplepodcast.com for show notes and more. Contact us via email at John or Nate at deeppurplepodcast.com. Thanks for listening.
And I forgot to record my audio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot to record the video. God damn it.
All right. Well, I guess this is going to be an audio episode.
It's pretty bad considering it's so video heavy.
All right. Well, shame on both. All right. So you want to just do it over?
Well, we'll start out with these escargots. And then we'll have the soup dooger. And then we'll have this mouse line sole. Pardon.